Okay, how you doing? I hope everybody's doing great. I hope you are getting information from the videos that I'm putting out for you. Um, and I hope that you're having fun gathering information. Are you? I certainly want you to be anyway. I'm checking to make sure my camera is straight. It looks a little crooked for me here. Okay. That's better, I believe. So, I want to talk to you tonight about some self-love, okay? I want to talk to you about self-love. I want to talk to you about war. I want to talk to you about any and all things that don't pertain to higher learning and higher conscious that we all need to kick in. That if you want to beat out the system, because you're in one. And there is a system that is operating right along with your life and many different versions of yourself, many different alternate states in other universes, parallel, okay? So, and the way things happen, it happens sort of like this, because everything is source, right? And source is figuring itself out by you playing out parts of source in your life as who source has given you, appointed you to be, and the energy that who you truly are, not the one you see in the mirror, not the body, but the real you. You just got to know who that is, okay? Because you live simultaneously life on to the next, to the next, to the next, okay? And keep going down until you get to where we're at today. But you start up as a light being, okay? And a star, light, okay? So it's so much to your life as you existing, and there's so much to the world that you exist in, because you only not existing in this world that you see in front of you physically, but you exist in other worlds that you cannot see physically. And even in the physical, it is not as it appears to be. It's more to the physical world that you're living in than it shows, okay? So you have to kind of like dive in to the center of things, and like you're taking a dive into something, or something you need to put your hand into and take it out, like you're going to go into the wall or whatever. But you need to be able to go in and then with your scopes and see what appears to be inside of your world, okay? Like a wound, okay? Because it is like that. It's like a wound, and that's how source is itself. It's a womb, okay? But it's conscious and all that in that womb, and it births forth life. So and the life that we have been operating in is not the true life of who we truly are. In fact, we haven't had a life that we truly had our own liberation to live ourselves and be our own true self. We haven't had that for as long as the colonizing has been done on your planet. So it's been like 600 years, but it's been further back than that. But as far as the war part of it, and that we have been in, it's been pretty much 400 to 600 years. And it has been a doozy, okay? And consider what a war, when there is always warring, Is there, if a side win, does one side win, one side lose? What happens? Does the other side come back and war again? And that's what it has been going on. And it really has been, you know, when one side win and the other side lose out, the lose out finds another way to come back and hit it again. Does it make sense? You know, it don't make sense. When does it stop? Who ends it? And what you do, take a break for 5 minutes and then you go back to find some other reason to war over it? How long shall we war? And shall we live in war? Shall we live in the state of war? Okay? State of being in war. All of that. State of living in war. All things is all about war. Can't you see? I mean, even in your own relationships, in your own life, where's the war at? It's always in you, or is it with you and someone else? Or something. Unless you just decide to be a person who just walks around with everything so stuffed inside that you just don't, you know, you don't deal with you and you don't deal with anything else. But still, you're warring. You're still in a war. You're not at peace. Until you're at peace, you're not there, and you're not. Until the whole conscious become peace. All of it. Everything must be coming to a world of peace, not just an individual peace, but that matters in your world. If you ever come to that place that you can find peace in you, and peace be still, okay, and peace be within, you can be at peace, and the war can be all around and it won't even affect you, and it wouldn't, because you're in peace. And then yet that hopefully can spill over to another and another and another. And that's where it would work. But yet at the same time, to bring peace into a world, a whole, there's got to be more on board to find that center, that energy of peace and love. And in the case, the key is the love is the number one factor. It's the number one seed. It's the one seed that we all must take in or swallow in order for growth of love to sprout out. And so with that love must be within you first. You cannot fix anything outside of your life unless you fix what's inside of your life. And if you lack in love, which most people are, then you must find that love in your own self. Because until you find love for yourself, and I mean true, pure, source love for yourself, knowing that source sees you as you are, and source love you just as you are. And source want to be in tune with you just as you are. Yet you must come back and connect to the source just as you are. And allow source to mingle in your heart and allow the love that you've been lacking, absency of, to spring back up and spring out and spring within and just flourish through you, all through your veins, every part of your life, your whole body, everything about you. You find that love that you have not had at no time, unless you are a person that is already there. And most people not. It takes a lot to find that true love, pure love for yourself, with no conditions. With no conditions, because you find everything that you find in you that you don't like, you'll find how to love it in the long of the day. Because what you don't like is all in the ego of what you've heard or what somebody's told you that is about you, or whatever the case, that you took it in a certain way. And ego likes to protect you, so it'll use it to put a defense up for you, but you don't want that. Because that keeps you from fully being saturated to pure love of source. It stops you from allowing source to just give you that fullness of love of itself, because you're connected back to it, and you see yourself as something that is missing what you know to be, that makes you whole, makes you be that one, that fullness of yourself, and be that one, because you all got to come back to the one. Those no other numbers don't matter. Only 1 and 0 is the only number that makes a difference. Any other number doesn't matter, because it's all going to add up to 1, and however you write it. You see, so love is a foundation that has been absent and missing, and it needs to be brought back in and laid at your feet, and laid in a strong foundation in your life, so that you can end the war. Finally, you come to the end of the war that's within you, and the war that you won with someone else, and the war that you won in the world and in everywhere where there is war. Love is the only thing that I see that will conquer it. And I know that for a fact, because I have put it in the place to know what will work. Is there anything that will stop the warring? Is there anything that will break the war free to the life, to freedom, so that there is no more in the energy of warring? Warring is no more in the energy, because the reason you have war is because the beings who infiltrated your planet was warriors, warring. There was a war of people, war. They had the war in their energy, war, and that's what they was built in. That's what they was made up, too, was wars. You can, and there's a way you can have war and have peace in the midst of it. But those are called peace wars, okay? They're not called wars, they're called peace wars. You see? So we have to come to a place where love is the ultimate energy for everything to be fulfilled and to be conquered, moved out of the energy of what it do not bring peace or bring satisfaction, satisfied, and to bring togetherness. We're missing that. That one energy that brings all of that in is love. I can't find anything else greater than that myself, personally. So, and the reason why I come to this conclusion today, I was listening to some videos, and he was talking about how the Crips, the Crips, the clans, whatever they call them, the Crips and the all the names of the games. I can't keep up with them. Too many of them. But he was talking about how they used to be, and how they operated, and what they're meant for. They're really not games. The laws, the law enforcement, or your law slave catchers, your law men, your law assholes, your law people, persons, whatever you want to call them, because I can't call them too many good things. Not at this point. I'm working on it. Yet, they made them become gangs, okay? Because they really were clans from the tribal, and they have a specific calling upon the land, a specific calling for them that source is given to them to become on the land, okay? Yet, during the time when they were operating, they had a lot of things happen to them. They had game wars, they call them, right? And I guess some of you can remember that. They was having a lot of game wars, a lot of killing, and lots of it was happening. So they were coming to rise to power. They were, you know, starting to wake from their sleep life, or sleep mind, or sleep mode, and starting to see beyond the veil. They were starting to see things in a more clear picture, that the government wasn't really made for this land and wasn't really made for us. That the government had come in and infiltrated the land and stole the life of the people. So they were starting to see these things, right? Because they were waking up, they started to see the reasons that they were here, and all those things were starting to come into place in their energies, okay? And so they were starting to make plans to set some plans in place so that they could find a way out for everyone, for the people, okay? And they were starting to put plans in place to where they could see how to bring things back to the place that it was taken from, stolen from, and freeing up the people, because they could see that the people was suffering, and you know, a lot of things was lacking in your life in those days, when it was in those years. And so they know that the you know, the mothers was crying for the children, and the children was suffering for the mothers, and so forth, and fathers, and all kinds of things were taking place on your land that didn't seem right. It sounded fishy, and you were getting so many people was being locked up for you know, whatever little thing that happened, and most was drugs and different things, which was not making a lot of sense. So those guys were rising to power, and they were starting to take on the power of the people. And so the lawmakers that had infiltrated your land and your life by putting a government in your place of your chiefs, and putting laws in the place of your tribal agreements that you would live by, not on contracts and not on laws, okay? We didn't have to have no law to drive on our own roads, okay? We didn't need no law. Why would you need a law to go fishing? Why do you need a law for anything? Why? This is your land. So what do you need a law for? You needed someone to keep structure and peace, and to, you know, and to keep harmony between the tribes. So that was being made, as we had different ones that did that, okay? And they were great, and these guys were being raised up to do some of that work, okay? Even today you have the Hell's on Wheels, I think they call. They was the ones who was on the horsemen, you know, and all these people, gangs, or what they call them, their clans, have had a certain particular place on the land that was brought in from the source itself, and then given to the people for helping bring the peace into the land, and to keep a certain structure up on the land for everyone. And it wasn't just about me as the law, it was about you as the people. But they turned it around and took it about the law, and you was not about anything. There was nothing you had to do or say against what they had to do or say. See, they had the power now, and then you have nothing, because they done infiltrated you and took your land and your life. So now the only life you got is to be enslaved into their rules and laws and shit, and they wasn't even following them. They had no intent to follow them, but you had to, and this wasn't their land. You see how it works? Just think about somebody coming in your house and taking your home, and you got to start obeying them in your own home. You see what I'm saying? So all these things that happen. So I have been listening to the videos about it, and then it, you know, it struck me. You know, it struck me because he said something about one of the guys that I think he said it was Tukey Williams and another one that was with Tukey. Williams. I can't remember his name at this point. I have to get the video and put it on there for you. But he said that the policemen, the lawmen, FBI, CIA, all of them, they had been seeing the rise of power in the people and in the clan, and how things were looking like that they were going to be able to take over a certain way of life on the land, where they would find out what was going on and then overthrow them. So they started creating scenes and different things to make the people, to make the gangs war against each other. Okay, but this was the FBI. They would come to their neighborhood and shoot up one neighborhood and make the other neighborhood think that they did it after they decided to have peace with each other. Okay, they said we're gonna have peace, or peace, you know. And so, but when something happened and somebody get killed or somebody get shot, they thinking, well, what if we had peace, or what happened? Well, go get your gun. Let's come on. They ain't got no peace. They lied to us. Whatever. These FBI, CIA, all of them was doing this to cause them not to have peace, okay, but to keep warring with each other, because as long as you got war, they got you on a captivity, and you are, because war don't solve nothing, and was never meant to solve anything. The only thing war solve is to keep the loosh coming from you, all that anger, all that sadness that comes through that, and all that just all fire rolling types of energy of low vibrations, all kinds of dark energy comes through that off of you. And there's certain entities that exist, suck this off of you. It feeds them. It feeds them more to keep them more pumped up in chaotic life living. They feed off of it, okay? And then they keep helping you to keep creating it, and then they feed off it more, okay? And it does something with the testosterone, I guess. It makes it real wild. Who knows? But it is something that is happening, because keep in mind, everything feeds off of something, okay? It's a cycle, okay? So you feed off the vegetables, and the vegetables feed your energy, you know what I'm saying? So, and the vegetables get their energy from the ground and whatever that they feed off of, and so on and so on. Everything feeds off of something. So these things were happening, and then they would keep you in this state of mind of just, always in some form of war mind. And war, and all the time. And this is what they wanted to keep you doing, so that you wouldn't see what was truly going on. You would never wake up to know what was happening. You would never come to a full mind of awakening to know that you have been under the spell of these infiltrators. And there was not only one spell, there was many they had put on. But the only spells can only last for so long. And then you awake from it, right? So they were constantly doing these things, or keeping it in the air, and then they would do anything else to create you into a war state of being, energy. And so this video was talking about how they was doing everything they could do to capture these two chiefs that was pretty in power, rising up in power quite a bit. And so they were just doing little things to screw up their world, to screw up their thinking, to screw up their life. And then in the end of the day, get them put in prison or entrap them into prison or whatever. And so they got the one chief, and they really had it out for him. And so they called him up. They had stole somebody's car that looked like his people, and then they made it look like one of his fellow guys, and they drove to his place, and they called him over to the car, and as soon as he walked up there, they shot him with a sawed-off shotgun. Well, that put me in a, I don't know. I was not happy when I heard that. I was like in a rage, like not a rage because I don't get that way, but I was like in a horrible place. Here's what happened. Okay, I'm a judge on your planet. I can judge your life. I can judge anything, so I can call judgment, and I can because who I am, and I know I can. So I really got. I got fucked up over that. I really did. I was like, oh my God. So when I heard it, I was like, oh no, well, you know, I'm like, oh no, well this has got, you know what? I don't give a fuck what happens. Cause I don't. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what happens. I want their fucking ass be shot down and shut up. I want them dead. Just like they did that guy, because they had no rights. So I was like, oh, fuck them. Fuck them up. I want them fucking dead. I don't give a fuck how you do it. Just kill their asses. Oh, man. And I was like, fuck, man. It should have never happened, you know? I was like, fuck this shit. Let's do. And then so I thought about that, and that something came back into me, and then I said, you know, wait a minute, hold on here. I like, wait, like that ain't gonna solve nothing, will it? Wow, wait a minute, hold on. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. Because that's what's been going on. That's exactly what's been happening. You know, you do one thing to this one, and then this one comes back. And this is how we've been in these wars, real ones, military ones, for 400, 600 years, right? Because every time they did something to cause something to happen on our part, to make us get in a war rage, we went to war on them because they had threw the rock and hid their hand, pretend like they didn't do nothing, but they were doing it to egg you on, to cause you to war, because they knew and you didn't. As long as you in war, there will never be peace. As long as there's never peace, you'll never win. You'll never get your land back. You'll never win the game. Because why? Because if you die while you warring, you die while you are in the warring state, you're going to come back in that same energy. You have war still in you. The war is going to be still going. And this is how it's fixed. So I'm thinking, oh, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. I'm like, that is not the answer to this, because they're in a war state of mind. And they have been. And they don't know how to get out of it, break free. They don't see that they're doing anything wrong, because there's no wrong and there's no right. As long as you're not breaking universe's laws. And so things has come to a place where we're in this thing together. Another higher groups locked us in, called a life lock, and put us in this life lock of state until we finish finished this freaking war, and there's no more left in anybody. Because they know if you keep doing it, you leave here, you coming back in the same energy of war. That's not the answer. And I didn't think about that until I thought about it. So 1 second, please. Let me get this here. Oh my God. Did you know my speaker's on? What is it?
On my way.
Okay. Okay. So there's someone's coming. I may stop the video and then start it back and finish it up when I come back, whatever. But so I thought about that and I was like, oh, freak. Because my guides, my family, Cosmos family, they've been telling me this. They've been showing it to me. And I heard them. I did. But I wasn't seeing it. They kept saying, love is the answer. All you do is when this is going on, just send love. Like, love. Like, yeah, we send love. We send love. But they knew. They know. And I heard them, but I didn't hear them until today. I was like, fuck. That is so fucking true. I'm like, because that's the only thing that's going to stop it. That doesn't mean we're talking, I'm not talking war out here, I'm talking war in here too. Comes here first. You got to stop warring with yourself. Because if you leave in the same energy, you're going to come back in the same energy as long as you continually having this war within. And then you're going to have the war without. And so that means you don't have love for self, for your me. You haven't found your me because you've been living in your you self. You see? You've been down in the low, not in the high. So you haven't had that peace within because you haven't had that love within. And the only way you're going to have the one with the other is you must start in the love first. Learning to find true love for yourself. Nothing's wrong with you except what you falsely believe. You're perfect. And you may not think that, but you are. Everyone is perfect as they are. Just as you are. You're perfect. You want to be more perfect than you do more perfect. Clean up, become more perfect in the eyes, in the source of energy. But you are perfect as you are. So it is about love. And that is the only way you're going to have freedom in every area of your life, in your world, and you and everything that you want. Your whole world will come to that once you find it in you. And then you connect the dots, the dolls, paper dolls, whatever it is, you always cut them out and they spread out. You connect the lines. And everyone will become in that life of loving in themselves and loving in all others. And then peace. Let me get my door. I'm going to cut this. Hold on. Are you going to stay for a minute? I'm just doing a video, but I can stop and start it over. Because I just started it. So yeah, someone's at my door here. So let me stop the video for a second, and then I'll come back and I'll finish off. Okay. All right.